What's up, Star Wars fans? Today I want to talk about why and how Grand Admiral Thrawn rescued Moff Gideon. So let's get right into it here. We know that in Season 2 of The Mandalorian, Ahsoka Tano is attempting to track down Grand Admiral Thrawn, an individual that, as far as the New Republic knows, disappeared back on Lothal before the beginning of the actual Galactic Civil War. And that is exactly how the Grand Admiral wants to keep things. You see, if Grand Admiral Thrawn reveals himself, or if Ahsoka Tano is able to discover him, then that could be a galvanizing and motivating factor for the New Republic. Remember, after all, that in Season 3 of The Mandalorian, we learned that the New Republic is disarming their military and navy. And again, that's exactly what Grand Admiral Thrawn wants. So Grand Admiral Thrawn rescued Moff Gideon so that he can continue to use him as his puppet, and therefore making sure that the New Republic believes that Moff Gideon and the Imperial Remnant are just a small Outer Rim threat. Nothing for the core worlds or even the Mid-Rim to worry about. That way, Grand Admiral Thrawn can continue to consolidate his power, while the New Republic simultaneously disarms their military and navy. So there you have it. That's exactly why I think the Grand Admiral has rescued Moff Gideon. But the other interesting question here is, how did the Grand Admiral rescue Moff Gideon? I mean, we did after all see that piece of Beskar alloy lodged in that Lambda-class shuttle's wall, indicating that it must have been Mandalorians that rescued Moff Gideon. And many people on the internet are theorizing that Moff Gideon was actually rescued by the Mandalorians that were working with Bo-Katan in Season 2. Remember, she mentions, after all, in Episode 1, Chapter 17, that her followers are now mercenaries and therefore could have been hired by Grand Admiral Thrawn. But this is where I disagree with those theories. I don't think Grand Admiral Thrawn hired those mercenaries. I mean, why would the Mandalorians be willing to rescue Moff Gideon? From what we learned in Season 2 of The Mandalorian, they would very much like to see him rot in a prison in the New Republic. If anything, their motivation would be to capture Moff Gideon and kill him outright. Now, I think that Beskar came from a different group of Mandalorians, one that has worked with Grand Admiral Thrawn before. And that, of course, would be Clan Saxon, the group of Mandalorians that ruled over Mandalore in the Empire's name. We saw this group battling Bo-Katan and Sabine Wren in Star Wars Rebels, and I believe there's a very good chance, even after the destruction of Mandalore, that this group kept their ties with the Empire, and more specifically Grand Admiral Thrawn. I mean, they certainly weren't going to rule over Mandalore. It was absolutely annihilated, and they absolutely would not be accepted by the other Mandalorians after working for the Empire. So really, their only option would be to stay loyal to the Empire and work for the Imperial Remnant, aka Thrawn. And so Thrawn decides to use his elite Mandalorian super commandos to extract Moff Gideon and restore him as the leader of the Imperial Remnant, making sure that the New Republic thinks that the Imperial Remnant still aren't that much of a threat, and that at some point soon they will no doubt capture Moff Gideon again. At least that's my crazy speculation for today, Star Wars fans. Let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, I'm Mike, and remember, the Force will be with you always.